This is Pokemon Why or Why Not, the show that incinerates your Pokemon questions and theories. In the episode Charmander the Stray Pokemon, we learn that Charmander dies if its tail flame is extinguished. Ever since then, fans have been wondering, how does Charmander's tail work? I'm happy to once again enlist the help of Birdkeeper Toby.
Hello again, Pokemon Masters, the Algamist. This Pokedex entry has been a point of contention ever since the anime started. What does it mean? Well, we are in the anime theory solving mood today, so after you're done here, make sure to check out the video on my channel where we'll be cracking open the mystery of the GS Ball. Links are in the description.
The odd thing about this Charmander fact, the basis for the entire episode, is its absence from the game's Pokedex. On the contrary, Red and Blue claim that Charmander's tail should be hot enough to evaporate rain. That's excusable here, seeing as this Charmander has been weakened by waiting for its trainer to return.
It's worth noting that Pokemon Insider gave us his take on this theory a little while ago, and he focused on the Pokedex entry that says that Charmander's life force is based on the strength of its tail flame. Which kind of makes a chicken and egg scenario with Charmander's life and flame. Which came first? We'll stick with the stake set by the anime, which is that the two are interwoven. Perhaps we can work out more about Charmander by looking at the anatomy of other fire types.
The Pokedex is actually quite detailed about how fire types get their firepower. There's a few magma-infused Pokemon, like Camerupt and Magmar, that get their fire from molten stone. Some Pokemon, like Pignite and Heatmor, are said to have internal fires, and they each have different ways of keeping their flame burning. Heatmor fuels this fire with air from its tail, and Pignite feeds it with food it eats. Similarly, Torkoal feasts on coal to fuel it like a furnace. Then there's Vulpix, who releases flames from its mouth to keep this inner flame tame.
Other fire Pokemon like Flareon and Fletchinder are said to have a flame sac in their bellies, and Torchic bridges this gap by saying its flame sac burns eternally in its stomach. So from this we can conclude that within the stomach of every fire type Pokemon, or at least the ones we've mentioned so far, there is a flame sac, a eternally burning fire, and it's up to the anatomy of the individual Pokemon to keep that fire burning. Kind of like Moltres' flame from the anime.
Finally, we have Chimchar, whose external flame is powered by the gas created in its belly. It likely has an internal flame as well, because its external ember can be toggled on or off at will. Monferno's tail is one of the closest in design to the Charmander family, so could they also be gas-powered?
If Charizard has a hollow tail like Heatmor, then it could be used to expel gas, but unlike Chimchar, it can't control this valve. This would mean the gas would be expelled at a constant rate, making it a kind of pilot light for the Pokemon. And it's not unusual for animals to expel flammable gas, because cows are known to expel an awful lot of methane. But scientists have concluded that if dragons were to exist, this is the gas they would use to stay afloat, seeing as methane is lighter than air, or less dense. This means the big body of a dragon could be kept afloat in the air with the proportion of wings, but then also if it were to be expelled, it could be turned into fire if there was an igniter. How appropriate considering Charizard is basically a dragon.
Well, if Charmander is burning methane externally, it must have too much to use. In that case, the very gas Charmander produces could be toxic to it in excess. If its tail was extinguished, this toxic gas would build up in Charmander's body, and because it can't expel it with poison-type moves, it would die.
This also works for when the Pokemon evolves, because when Chimchar evolves, the flame, the tail lengthens, meaning it's expelling more methane. And we know this works in terms of Charmeleon because Charmeleon's flame is said to sometimes even turn a bluish white. Then followed up by Charizard, whose tail flame isn't easily doused as seen in Pokemon Origins. It all fits in. Charmander's ability to burn excess methane is what keeps it alive.
I've been releasing weekly theories for the past month, so subscribe if you like this one. Like Toby said, we also made a really great GS Ball theory on his channel. Check that out if you haven't. I've been the Algamist, gotta catch you later. No, Gary's wrong. What does he know about being strong?